Hello, beautiful Libran spirits out there. I felt this really strong pull to do the readings this month, to sit down and to create this intimate space with you. I really, really did. And it's, I've just been on this journey of figuring out who I am and what my work means to me and to others. And I don't know, somehow this September just called to me. So we're here. We're here for the beginning of Libran season happening this month. Happy birthday to you Librans out there. This is a really spiritual time for you all of the year. This is the time of solar rebirth, of transformation, of going through the deep spiritual doorway of Virgo season and into Libra season. I think the symbolism of this is amplified this year with a Mercury retrograde that starts off in your sign on September 9th and will stick with you going backward until the 23rd when it then joins Virgo. And so this is going to be a modulation. So first, we start off with Virgo energy. We've got Venus and the Sun moving through Virgo. Then they head toward you and join you later in the month. And Mercury is doing the opposite, starting with you and ending up in Virgo. And by the end of the month, we, of course, are going to have a new moon in your sign, the Sun in your sign, and Venus, your ruling planet, joining you in your sign. And all of this is this interesting interplay between the expanded self, that spiritual self that is hidden, the hidden world, the mystery, the dreaming, the mysterious. And then the experience of you feeling your individuation, feeling into yourself as an individual, coming back into your uniqueness and the way you move through the world. So the poetry of the way that these energies are moving through this month is just so beautiful. And it is a time of kind of mastering your ability to modulate between the spiritual hidden world and your individuated self here in this world, and how that conversation works with you. And how much you allow yourself to modulate between these two. I think this is a skill that takes a bit to learn, and we aren't given the tools for it in our culture and in our life. We're kind of taught to be in one modality or the other. Either you're a hermit and you're really spiritual and you're off, not on the responsible map, or you're here in the world doing what you need to do. For me, the modulation between the spiritual, expanded, oceanic self and the detached, clear self that is here as an individual moving through the world with goals and ideas is so important, that we allow ourselves the ability to shift between the two and weave these two together, and to never have the expectation that we need to be in one modality more than the other. I think, for me, when we're in the expanded, mysterious, which is Virgo season, is going to be a lot more about that. And you may find that you're wanting to sleep more, rest more, integrate more, reflect more, and be a little bit less high energy externalized. That part of the ourselves is often associated with expandedness, enlightenment, kind of being tapped into another way of seeing. And then, of course, with your birthday season coming, with the equinox, with this opening of that energy at the end of the month, it's that sense of being here, getting something done, checking it off the list, having the conversation, reaching the goals. Now, these two things are often pitted against each other, but they really are longing to be unified and to have conversations with each other. They are really longing to have some recognition of each other and a conversation. But I think we can feel a little uncomfortable modulating between the two because they do have different lenses. So one thing I would recommend this month is play with that, explore that. Explore what it feels like to, maybe you've been having a busy work day or busy day where you're having deep conversations. Mercury retrograde will, after all, help us to commune a little deeper, get a little clearer in our conversations, I think. It may be a little intimidating to then switch over into the dreamier landscape, But try it out. See what happens if you let yourself modulate, and vice versa. See what happens in the interplay between those two. Okay, 2 cards just did not want to go back in the deck, so they're coming out. The Devil and the Page of Pentacles. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. And 2 more cards wanted to come out. So 7 of Cups, Ace of Swords. Wow. Speaking of modulation, I don't know if there's a bigger modulation than Devil and 7 of Cups, if I can think of one. I'm sure it exists, but wow. Okay, we're starting off with the Devil right away, right out of the gate. This is a potent energy, one that is multi-layered. I think, the Devil gets kind of a bad rap. The long-term commitments we make, the patterns we have maybe been in, the things, the projects, the ideas that we feel we have to keep maintaining, the identity that we put out there in the world that may at one point have served us, but now feels like a prison, is represented here in the Devil. They aren't innately evil things, right? These aren't wrong things, but we are starting to feel that we are trapped within the prism of who we have to be in the world. And here's where that modulation between spirit and our individual selves is really important, because we're going to be asked to bring more of our spirit into our lived life, into what we're doing. And that means that we are not going to be able to maintain the container that we may have had on for a little while. It's going to invite shift. It's going to invite change. It is going to invite pieces to move. You can't pull one thread out of something and have all the other threads just stay intact. As I have learned with immigrating, I thought I'll just immigrate and keep doing work the same way. But every single thread in my tapestry has now, it's come to unravel and it's getting woven in a new way. And there was no way around that. And so there is an invitation here for massive change. Now, with that being said, this is not expected in the turn of the September seasons, right? This is about acknowledging something that is starting to feel like a prison. Now with that, right, there's this opportunity. And for me, the Devil's a little bit of the resistance to move forward, and the Page of Pentacles is that urge to move forward into the unknown without all the skills yet. Maybe you don't feel like you know how to do the thing yet, but you're getting invited on the journey anyway. And you'll be noticing that you're working with this a little bit. The part of you that wants to stay the same, stay in the cozy, even though you're starting to chafe a little bit, and the part of you that wants to try, even if you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. Now, another important part of this month is the 7 of Cups. This is such a useful card. This is such a useful practice. The 7 of Cups really reminds me of 12th house dreaming energy, because we go up there, we go into our dream world, our energetic world, our ethereal world, and we can try out different cups that we drink from. So if you're uncertain about modulations that are happening in your life, ways that you're being asked to change, feelings of being tight and wanting to expand, 7 of Cups allows you to try it on in your energetic field. So trying on staying the same, notice how it feels, notice the textures, the colors, the emotions, the old circuits that get lit up. Try thinking about what would happen if you made the change. See how it feels. Find the most truthful cup to drink from. The one that makes you feel calm, centered. You may not know all the answers, but you also don't feel flustered or tight or tense. That is where you're going to want to go. And that is where this Ace of Swords is leading us. Clarity. I think by the end of this month, there's going to be a lot more clarity than you probably had in a little bit about this issue that you've been resisting change on, which is great. I think a journey from the Devil to Ace of Swords is a wonderful journey. It's one that can bring a lot of relief. But the Ace of Swords is about deep truth, about the cutting open of something that needs to really be seen in full light. And that's not to be like scary. I don't think that necessarily has to be like some big upset in your life. It's a knowing that starts inside of you first. And that's really the important key here. This has nothing to do with what the external world is telling you needs to be known. It's something you've known inside first, Libra. So I hope you have a beautiful September. I'd love to see you on Patreon, where I offer weekly teachings to work through every single week of the month and explore together. I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on my Instagram and on my website, so I'll leave all the links below. I'd love to see you here for more chats in the future and to join me on my evolution as I also grow. I love you so much. Have a beautiful September.